Hi everyone, my name is Bianca Perez, and I'm here to answer your questions about being a lawyer. I'm currently a content author at UWorld, working on developing our online bar prep course. Before I came to UWorld, I was a practicing attorney in California, where I represented individuals in civil rights cases, employment discrimination cases, and personal injury cases. You all sent in so many great questions about what it takes to work in this field, and I'm excited to answer some of those questions for you. So let's get started. So our first question, how many years of schooling are required to become a lawyer? So first, obviously you need to attend college and get a bachelor's degree, which is typically 4 years, although it takes some people less time or more time, depending on their circumstances. And once you graduate college, then you need to attend law school, which is also typically 3 years, although there are some programs designed for evening students. So instead of going full-time and it taking 3 years, you could take a slower paced 4-year path, and that allows you to work at the same time. So a lot of people, of older students or people who have jobs outside of law school go that path. Another question we had was what law school I attended. I went to Loyola Law School in Los Angeles, affiliated with Loyola Marymount University. What are the most important things I should do and classes to take in high school to help me get into law school? So first, right off the bat, I would say there's really not any specific courses or anything you need to be worrying about at the high school level other than read and write as much as you can. The practice of law is pretty much mostly writing, so anything you can do to expose yourself to writing opportunities is really helpful. Any classes you can take that involve graded essays are really helpful. And maybe any classes or extracurriculars that involve public speaking, like a debate team, or I know some high schools even do mock trial, which is obviously very helpful. But really you don't need to be too worried about what you're doing in high school to get into law school. You have so much time to prepare, so no need to stress at this early stage. What was it like studying for the LSAT? Honestly, the LSAT was not too difficult. It's really about mastering the type of test that it is. It's a lot of reading comprehension and logical reasoning. So I would recommend just getting as much exposure to actual LSAT past questions as possible. You can take a prep course. I took a prep course after I graduated college, but that's not necessarily required. You can find past exams online or at your local library. They have LSAT prep books sometimes. And I think it's also important to keep in mind that the LSAT is not a basic, everyday standardized test. It doesn't necessarily require memorizing information or retaining certain information. It's more about learning how to take the test and what they're looking for. Are there any internships that will prepare me for being a lawyer? So of course you could seek out an internship at a law firm or working under a lawyer, which will of course give you practical experience and exposure. But in college, definitely I would just recommend doing what interests you. You know, there's not a set major you have to have in college to get into law school. There's not one type of internship or job that's gonna be the key to getting into law school. It's really just doing what you enjoy and doing it well. So when I was in college, I did an internship at the International Rescue Committee, which is a refugee resettlement organization. So I, helped newly arrived refugees kind of navigate the US legal system, get familiar with just the culture shock. So I think any internship, again, that is gonna allow you to write would be helpful, but also internships that allow you to interact with clients. So anything that's people-facing, volunteer work where you get to work with people is gonna be really helpful down the line with your client skills. What courses will best prepare me for law school? So in college, you can really take whatever courses you want. You don't have to have any one specific major to get into law school. You don't need to be pre-law. You don't need to major in political science or criminal justice. What you want to focus on is majoring in something that you like, that you're going to do well in. Anything that is writing heavy is going to be very helpful. So anything that has a lot of essay writing, paper writing, research papers, you really want to get as much exposure and experience with those type of things as possible before you come to law school. I would also recommend any like philosophy courses or any courses that are going to teach you logic and logical reasoning. Outside of that, communications classes could be helpful because they would require you to work with groups and public speaking practice, depending on what area of the law you go into, is going to be really valuable. Why did you decide to become a lawyer? So I decided to become a lawyer honestly, just because I really wanted to help people. I felt like I was very privileged to be able to go to college and have the opportunity to go to law school. I know not everyone has that opportunity, so I wanted to use my privilege to help others. So that's why when I started, I worked first with refugees, I did a little work in immigration, and then eventually, once I got into law school, I did a lot of client work. I worked at a courthouse in the self-help center, so specifically in the domestic violence clinic. So I helped litigants who would come in seeking to file restraining orders. I would help them fill out that paperwork. And I honestly, I think a lot of people want to become a lawyer or want to go to law school because they want to help people. And there's so many ways to do that as a lawyer. You don't need to just be a criminal defense attorney to help someone. You know, people need lawyers for family law reasons. People need lawyers if they get hurt, if they get into a car accident, or even like businesses need attorneys to help them navigate complex laws. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to help and do good, which is why I at least became a lawyer. Well, that's all the time we have for questions in this video, but please check out some of our other videos for more information about becoming a lawyer. Thanks for watching.